As advocacy specialists for the Commission, we have traveled across the state and taken part in several different events. Be they big or small, right around the corner or far away, they can make up some of the best moments of what we do. Today, we are going to discuss our favorite event that we have been a part of during our time at NCDHH. I want to welcome everybody to our regular podcast, A Moment with NCDHH. We will be discussing our favorite event today. With that, I'd like to begin with Kim.
This is Kim. So I guess my favorite event, I've got several, but the one that I keep going back to was one that was a biggest challenge for me. I went to a large conference, and which I love attending, because you can impact so many birds with one stone, so to speak. So you can really be a huge influencer at a large conference, educating people. So I always love going and also trying to schedule a presentation, submitting a proposal, hoping that their planning committee will approve that and accept that. I've got a pretty success rate, but what's best is just the word of mouth. Hey, this is a good conference. So that helps a lot. Educating a large group of people that are at maybe social work conferences, attorney conferences, those that have audiologists there, a lot of service providers, doctors groups, but different types of doctors groups, of course. Some are internal medicine, some focus on family health or family physicians. So, but I've attended a lot, and those are my favorite that I've done here at the Commission. Makes a huge impact. So I hope to continue to be able to do that with those large conferences.
It's always fun to be in a mix of those big events. There's always just so much going on with so many people that have such interesting things about them. Next up, we're going to go over with Kathy.
All right, thank you, Aaron. This is a great topic, and we wouldn't be able to talk about all of the fun activities and conferences that we present at if we didn't have a fantastic support system. Right now, I'd like to just thank our director, John Wyville, and our board members who make our attendance at all of these events possible. In my 5 years with the Commission, I've been fortunate to attend several conferences and so many booths that I have lost count. It's really hard to choose one to talk about, but that being said, I'm going to talk about a conference that I went to last fall. I went to AldaCon in Kansas City in October last year. ALDA is a association of late deafened adults. They hold a national yearly conference for any adults, parents of children with hearing loss, professionals like audiologists or people who work at different agencies, and they accept people with any level or degree of hearing loss. And one of my favorite parts about it was so many of the people there had hearing service dogs, which was just amazing. They are very accepting of all types of communication modes, whether that be people who are hearing, people who wear hearing aids, cochlear implants, people who are speech readers, novice ASL users to fluent ASL users. They really promote an atmosphere of communication access for everyone. Every session that I attended and all meals had interpreters present. They had personal amplification devices available. They had real-time transcription on PowerPoint screens, and just really made it very user-friendly for every single person that attended. From the first night, the evening that I arrived, they were so welcoming. Even though I really don't have any degree of hearing loss, I was very welcomed by everybody that I talked to. I never had to worry about having someone to sit with or someone to talk to. Everybody there wants to share their story about hearing loss, and they want to hear what your story is. Even with all modes of communication and levels of American Sign Language skills, I never felt excluded from a conversation. Even with my very limited American Sign Language, they accepted that and they worked with me to communicate. And it was just such a welcoming and wonderful feeling. I would encourage anyone who has any degree of hearing loss, or if you support someone who has hearing loss, I strongly encourage you to attend an ALDA conference. And you can check out ALDACon at alda.org. Thank you.
It is really crazy, some of the opportunities that are given to us because of this position. With that, we will follow it up with Cody.
Hi, Cody here. As everyone else has mentioned, yeah, we have so many things to choose from, and picking one that's the favorite, I guess one that I really enjoyed was last year, NCDHH annually hosts an event called the Lincoln Salt Dogs. It's a baseball stadium. And the person that runs that is a child of a deaf adult, the person that's the president of Lincoln Salt Dogs. So it's wonderful to have that collaboration. They have a deaf awareness night where they have people who are deaf and hard of hearing coming to the game. Everyone's welcome. And they have one inning specifically where there isn't anybody speaking, no broadcaster, no announcer announcing the game, and everyone just sits there quietly. So everyone can experience what that's like to not have access to sound. It's a lot of fun. It's always a huge social event. We meet old people, new faces. It's wonderful. It's an exciting event. What was fun for us is they have games in between innings where you can compete. And last year, luckily, Aaron and I got to compete in one of those between inning games. Unfortunately, this year it was canceled, as well as a lot of other sports, but we're looking forward to having this event next year.
I remember that, and I regretfully admit that you beat me pretty handedly in that game. But that's okay, because I still like you. With that, we will finish up with Dylan next.
My situation's a little unique. I have recently started at the commission last November. And the first month of training, I was picking up the job and the ins and outs, and finally got my foot in the door. January and February, I started scheduling some projects and working with different organizations. And then March came about, and we all know what happens. Everybody went home because of COVID, and so there wasn't really a lot for me to do. One thing I hope to do and explore in the future is one night I did get to spend a ride along with the Omaha Police Department. The person that I rode along with knows American Sign Language, has a sister who is deaf. So I want to continue to reach out to this person to see how we can collaborate with them and get our deaf community to have improved access and cooperation with the Omaha Police Department. So I sat down with this gentleman and got to talk about a variety of topics and resources that we offer, and we want to go ahead and start planning an event. But then unfortunately we're postponing that until further notice. But that was one thing I did enjoy doing, was doing that ride along and doing things with the Omaha Police Department. It was very fun and I enjoyed that.
And it's a cool little moment there. I think that there's a lot that can be accomplished with that. I think it's a really cool avenue that you have opened up for you. Much like everybody else, I had a hard time deciding on my event. I chose the Husker Harvest Days booth that goes on for 3 days in September. Although it is often hot, very dusty, and sometimes has massive overnight rainstorms that leave the area we work in swamped, I just love the experience. There's nothing like it anywhere else. You walk into an area with giant tractors and combines on either side of you. There are working pivots being demoed over giant water tanks. There are sheepdog demonstrations. They even harvest corn specifically grown for the event to show off the next big piece of farm equipment. Another great part of it is the people. There are people at the event from all over the world. 2 years ago, we met a man from New Zealand. It is also fun to see the FFA kids running around with their 5-gallon buckets and yardsticks. However, the farmers are the most prevalent part of visitors, and they often have great stories to tell. If you can get past hearing the same joke over and over and over again. There is also a large assortment of different displays going on that you would not expect at a farm show. They have a large tent full of handmade crafts. They had a building with a couple of old tractors and stories about them. I especially like hearing about eco-friendly practices and tools that certain companies bring to the event. It is cool seeing that the start of what will be utilized in the fields a few years from now. All in all, it's an experience that you won't get anywhere else. With that, I want to thank you all for tuning in. We hope that you enjoyed hearing about our favorite events that we have participated in during our time with the Commission. Thanks.